Change requires your system to downregulate, not push harder. But so many of us have had these ingrained beliefs that have been passed down from generations and even culturally in the corporate world, in our school system, that we've got to do more to get more. We've got to give more time and give more energy and sacrifice more in order to get more. And it's actually the opposite. When the load gets too high, the body forces rest so the system doesn't break. So it is the opposite of what you think that you need to do. Your brain is needing this stillness, this slowness, in order for you to get the clarity of what's going on. And you don't have to have all of it figured out for you to move forward. That's a tricky lie that your ego is going to tell you. Well, I'm not sure exactly what I need to do right now, and I don't know all the next 5 steps. You don't need to know that. If you've been slogging it through this year, like you feel like you're in quicksand and your body feels so heavy, you're disconnected, mentally foggy, completely drained even after a full night's sleep, listen closely. This isn't random exhaustion. This is what happens right before a major identity shift, a major timeline jump, perhaps one of the biggest quantum leaps of your life. You're not tired because you're failing, you're lazy, something's wrong with you. You're tired because the version of you that operated out of your old timeline is collapsing, is falling apart, is disintegrating away. Your body's shutting down. The patterns, the habits, the beliefs, the thoughts, the survival responses that can't come with you into the next chapter. So this isn't necessarily burnout. It certainly isn't laziness. This is energetic recalibration. This is the in-between space, the messy middle, I call it, where your nervous system is catching up to the timeline your soul has already stepped into. And here's the part that no one tells you. Timeline jumps don't feel magical and light and abundant and amazing. They feel like fatigue. They feel like you're a walking zombie. They feel restlessness. They feel like they're filled with pressure and a quiet sense that your old life doesn't fit anymore. They feel like you're going insane, actually. This episode isn't going to enable you to sit in the tiredness. It's going to show you how to use this exhaustion as the moment everything starts shifting forward, because you don't need to have it be perfect. All right. You don't need to have to know all of the things and have it figured out for you to move forward, for you to regain focus. You just need to understand what this season is trying to move you into and make one aligned decision from that identity. So now let's turn this exhaustion into a power shift and get you the F out of this. What up, my people, my posse, my fellow crazies? It's your host, Tiffany Carter, and this is the show that is going to help you grow your business, your bank account, that big, beautiful brain of yours, your relationships, your abundance, and everything in between. I'm back. I'm at about 85%. Whatever's been going around, I do not want you to catch that. Wow, did that take me out, wipe me out? And it goes along with this episode. In fact, it inspired this episode because I knew immediately when I got sick out of the blue. I mean, I literally woke up like I swallowed a bunch of razor blades. I immediately knew that this was happening for me. This is because it has happened to me many times before, and I watch it and witness it happening to thousands of my clients. And it's fascinating. Either people get sick right before it's time to actually like launch the thing and put their stuff out into the world. Like my new entrepreneurs that come to me inside my 2-month private business coaching program. And that's where I coach both people starting from scratch who are looking to scale to about $25,000 to $27,000 a month. And then I have another level of that program for people who are already established that are in the mid to high 6 figures that are looking to scale to the 7 and 8 figures. But we use the same application. Those applications are open for the last time, and you can swipe up. They're inside the show notes. It's the only way for you to be able to access the application. And right before they go out to do the big thing, whether someone is brand new or highly established, because remember, it's an upgrade in identity. It's stepping into a timeline jump. And you guys come to me, whether it's in my posse membership, it's in one of my programs, or the hot, working with me privately, which is the highest level way to work with me. You're taking the actions which activate your manifestations, which help create that timeline jump and move it forward so much faster. So you're not stuck in this messy middle period, which I know a lot of you got really wrapped up in and stuck in this year. And some of you are still stuck in it right now. And before we actually do the thing, present the thing, post the thing, publish the thing, put the thing out there in the world, launch the thing, that's when people get sick. And the other time when people get sick is that final stage of timeline jumping, where you've actually already had the jump. That's where I'm at. I'm in the integration period. The jump has occurred, but there's this weird period afterwards, and your nervous system can finally relax. And I have science to back all of this up. Okay. This isn't from my ass. And I give you my clinical experience, right? Not that I'm a medical practitioner, but clinically in terms of the business growth strategist world and coach world, because I have coached over 150,000 people worldwide at this point, which that gives a lot of case studies. And there's a lot of common themes, and that's what I bring to you. So you know what the hell is going on, which helps navigate it, takes the shame out of it, and helps you make sense of all of it so you can keep moving forward and not be stuck in it. And here's what happens. Your brain burns up to 20% of your total energy. Now, if you're an overthinker, overanalyzer, ADHD, have complex trauma, you're unwell in the mind, you know damn well it's more than 20% of your total energy. And I don't know why it doesn't burn more calories, because if my brain burned the calories that it should be burning, I could eat ice cream all day. And when you're going through an identity shift, it's going to even use more of that when you're going through an upgrade. So your brain is literally rewiring neural pathways. So neuroscience shows that neuroplasticity, oh my God, I can't pronounce things right now. We're going to keep going. Requires a massive energy output, which is why you feel mentally foggy, kind of unfocused, tired. You can't even explain your level of exhaustion. Your brain is recalibrating in order for it to rewire. So it makes sense. I would compare it to when a adolescent is going through puberty. And those of you who have kids, or remember how much teens, tweens, how much they sleep, right? They need that amount of sleep. So I do want you to trust the fact that your body is telling you, I need more rest right now. And if you keep ignoring it and pushing through it, it is going to demand it. And how it usually demands it, if you're not listening and you're a stubborn ass like me and you're like, I don't have time and I have to do this and I've got to work out and I've got this going on in my business and it's, this is going on and that is going on, it will flatline you. It'll make you sick. And it can get even worse. And if you've listened to my 2-part series on the biggest quantum leap of my life, the before and after, maybe you need to listen to it again, or you need to listen to it for the first time. It's about a couple weeks back from this, maybe 3 weeks back from this. And I literally almost got taken out because I was so stubborn and I didn't have this level of evidence bank that I have now that I share with you. I was not listening or honoring my body. And it's like you have a phone that's overheating. It's not like it's going to keep overheating. It'll shut down. Same with a car. Well, your body is no different. And you're going to pay a bigger price for not listening to it than you do from pushing through, but your ego is going to want you to keep on pushing, but you're going to pay a big price for that. All right. Your nervous system is moving out of survival mode. So this crash is normal, especially if you're just on the other side of a timeline jump. A lot of us this year, we have been on a roller coaster ride of emotions, of getting whacked from all over the place. And if you're highly sensitive like me, you're picking up on energies from people all over the world. I mean, last year started with the fires in Los Angeles, which was absolutely insane. And if you live here like I do, it was even more insane, or had loved ones here, and you know people who lost their homes. And then it also is what it represented. Even though we have people from over 57 countries in the world listening to this episode, this was worldwide news. And it's scary when you see if something's possible for such a major worldwide city that's been so glamorized, and basically the government didn't protect the people, and I'm laughing because it's so disturbing, then what could happen for us, right? And it just brings up so much stuff. And so we had that going on. And then so many of you who are pursuing bigger things, whether it's starting a business, growing your business, you're deep in the entrepreneur world, you wanted to create new things, you want to help more people, you're putting out a book, you're wanting to put yourself out on social media, you're wanting to take bigger steps in the world. You're not the type of person who just sits back, right? You're doing things, you want things, you yearn for things, you have your creative gifts that you're putting out into the world. It is absolutely normal. In fact, it's so normal to have this crash. There's a name for it. It's the parasympathetic rebound, my therapist said. So it's the body saying, I can finally rest now. And that's the integration period. So my point, which took me a while to get to, listen, I'm still medicated. Okay. So I'm not as medicated as the last episode, which was very entertaining if you didn't listen to it. I said some crazy shit, but I'm still medicated. So my system got sick. I was listening to it because I knew I was going through a major timeline jump. I knew it at a certain point this year it became undeniable. I wasn't sure what it was. And then it became undeniable because I kept getting whacked and whacked and whacked and whacked in every area of my life. It was relentless. I was like, okay, I know what this is. I've seen this in clients. I've seen this in friends. I've experienced this before. Wow. Okay, we're here. This is happening. And I was giving myself permission to do that extra rest, but I still was doing this pushing energy because I had a lot of fear going on. And we're going to get into that because it's going to help you identify what's going on and what action to take to shift out of it in a way that supports your nervous system, not doing more, okay, but doing things differently because that's what you are being called to do. And I got hit with whatever's going around to where I didn't have a choice, right? Like I couldn't go do my normal things that I like to do. I couldn't go work out. I couldn't go do my normal activities. I couldn't go to my support groups, my mastermind group. I couldn't participate in all of my things. And it is the universe, it is God, it is spirit forcing me to be still, to be silent. And it's forced isolation, not isolation in an unhealthy way. But truly, when you need to have that, I call it a come to Jesus, whether you believe in Jesus or not. Okay. But a come to Jesus, when you need to hear something, when the universe is like, hey, you got to sit down and there's stuff you need to hear and you can't hear when you're tasking and you're moving all over the place and you're doing this and you're cleaning this and you're going out to the with this person and you're taking in all this information from all these places. Your ass needs to be still. It's going to make sure that you're still. And we have to recalibrate. What goes up must come down. Just think of it in terms of even, of course, I'm going to involve illegal substances. But listen, I know a lot of you have done drugs, all right? A lot of you have done things who listen to this show, all right? So we're going to use it. Let's say you're rolling on Molly. You're an OG raver. You've done ecstasy. Your dopamine goes way up, right? You have a crash from that because your body has to recalibrate. Your brain has to recalibrate to bring you back to even. Same if you do speed, you do cocaine, right? There's a crash to it. You do a depressant like alcohol and you fuel your body with so much sugar, or maybe you're even eating excess sugar. You know, you get that, or caffeine, you get that high, but there's a crash that comes after in order to recalibrate. This is your inner drugstore that I'm talking about. You can be completely sober. You can be a fucking health nut. You can be the almond mom of almond moms and have an inner drugstore that mimics the same chemicals as illegal substances, and can even go further than that, because that's what fear does. It gets your anxiety, it gets your adrenaline, it gets your cortisol, then you spike, and then you crash, and then you spike, and you crash. And just think about how many times that's happened to you this year in response to all of the things that are going on. So letting go of old identities triggers a prediction error in the brain. Your brain loves predictability. And if you're someone who grew up with a lot of trauma or was in a toxic relationship or a toxic work environment, okay, you want predictability even more because that equals safety and security. So when you shift into a new identity, your brain experiences an error signal like, warning, something's not working, it's short circuiting. So the old patterns don't match the new desire. So this forces your brain to update its internal model because it has to, because it's not connecting. And that's like when you upgrade, if you have like Apple products, which most all my stuff is all Apple. So it's an iOS like operating system. Well, then you get forced to have to update all of your apps on your phone. And if you don't, there's a lot of things that aren't going to work, or it's going to slow down. It's going to get janky. They're going to automatically shut down. So this is energetically expensive when this happens. You get tired because your brain is doing all of this rewiring, recalibration work. And haven't you noticed when you're like mentally or emotionally exhausted, it makes you physically exhausted, right? Or even if you're physically exhausted, the other way works too, where it can make you mentally exhausted. So that's what's going on here. And I need you to see it as this is actually a good thing. We have to have that bow and arrow pulled back when we slow down in order to speed up. We have got to go into the pit crew, which is my new program that I'll be talking about. Probably, I gave a little hinteroonie to it and some early applications to it. And if you guys have not heard back on those applications, that is completely on me because I got sick and then we got inundated with applications for that. I would right now focus on, if you were looking to work with me at my highest level, work with me privately, I would apply to my 2 month exclusive business coaching program. It's the last time those applications are going to be open. I only take 4 people at a time. And this is where we customize everything together. We are, whether you're starting from scratch or you're many years in, we are shifting your business with where you want to go, with this new identity you're stepping into, so that it's working with you and not against you and draining you, which is what you're being called to do right now, because how you've been operating is no longer working. It's not serving you. It's actually getting in the way of where you want to go monetarily or even just lifestyle, how you want to live your life, enjoying what you want to do, not feeling so drained by all of the systems. Maybe you are trading way too much time for your money or too much time for too little money. And we look at your offers, we create offers from scratch. We create a customized launch program, how to create profitable content and a profitable content strategy. So you are learning those skills with me, but customized for you, your industry, your ideal client, and your goals. And you can swipe up to access that application. All right. And that's the only way to get the application. I don't have it in a link in bio anywhere because otherwise it'd be inundated. Please only apply if you are truly serious. Don't apply just to see if you can get accepted or something like that. Truly apply if you're like, you know what? I know I have this feeling. I know what's going on. I'm expanding. I'm in growing pains, and I want to make sure I set myself up for success here. Because if you don't set yourself up for success when you're going through these growing pains, when you're going into a new level, you're going to revert back, and you'll revert way back. You go into default mode. And this is actual facts in neuroscience. It's almost like you'll short circuit, because if we don't feel safe and supported and have clear guidance, well, then how are you going to feel good about moving forward and doing new things and unfamiliar things and not be so scattered. And then you end up tired. Then you end up energetically depleted. Then you end up mentally confused. And then most of you go into some form of analysis paralysis mode. Or you end up doing a whole bunch of things, and there are a bunch of things that aren't income generating or joy generating. And then you're like, fuck this, this isn't working. And now you end up in this horrible, insane loop, which I love to call the dirty diaper. And some of you are there, and we're going to get you out of that. Decision fatigue skyrockets during these transition seasons, and a season can last the entire year. Okay. I would say mine, this last timeline jump, I would say it was about a year's time. It doesn't have to be that long. I am a stubborn ass. Okay. I can be in a lot of self will. I can be really resistant. I can do things that I call a half surrender. I'll say I'm surrendering. I believe I'm surrendering. I might surrender for a day, and then something else whacks me or something else unexpected happens. And then I take it all back. Not trusting God, not trusting the universe. I take it all back. And then I go into this like frantic overdoing mode. I get very mentally spirally, and then I have to work my way to surrender again, and I go back again. And you can imagine how exhausting that is, or maybe you know because you're wired like me. And that ends up keeping us in this messy middle, in this dirty diaper so much longer. So research shows the average person makes 35,000 decisions per day. Your asses aren't average, okay? You're a business owner, you have big aspirations to do big things, you've got kids, you've got responsibilities. I guarantee it's way more than that. And when you're changing timelines, identities, life paths, you can double or triple even that cognitive load. Think about that. Doubling or tripling that. So, what stays, what goes, what feels right, what's next? This drains your prefrontal cortex, the part that's responsible for focus and motivation. Makes so much sense. And so, what does your body do to try to get energy back and get you to be able to like fire? And so that you can be recalibrated for this new level, it will make your ass lay down. It'll make you unable to function so it can shut down and restore. Your brain uses significantly more glucose during emotional transitions. That's why you feel depleted, even if you've done nothing, even if you've slept 11 hours, even if you're eating perfectly. And your body is clearing the old dopamine loops, the old habits, the old coping mechanisms, the old routines, the dopamine pathways. When you outgrow a version of yourself, those circuits destabilize. So an example will be I really did break my truly unhealthy limiting pattern of procrastination this year. I mean, the more headway than I've ever made, which I'll be doing a podcast episode on that if you're interested in hearing how I did it from someone who truly struggled with that. Even though I know some of you might not believe that I do because I've accomplished so much, but wow. I mean, it's so exhausting. And that's one of the old dopamine loops that had to get removed for me. And my very viral episodes on procrastination, which you can just search the name of the podcast and put procrastination, and it should pop right up in YouTube or pop up on Google. It is a drug. It's a drug addiction. It's an inner drugstore addiction because you have adrenaline, you have dopamine, you have all the things, you have the cortisol, because then you shame yourself and then you get a high when it's actually done. And it's the same, it's these kinds of patterns that are having to go away in order for you to step into your new level. Change requires your system to down regulate, not push harder. But so many of us have had these ingrained beliefs that have been passed down from generations and even culturally in the corporate world, in our school system, that we've got to do more to get more. We've got to give more time and give more energy and sacrifice more in order to get more. And it's actually the opposite. When the load gets too high, the body forces rest so the system doesn't break. So it is the opposite of what you think that you need to do. Your brain is needing this stillness, this slowness in order for you to get the clarity of what's going on. And you don't have to have all of it figured out for you to move forward. That's a tricky lie that your ego is going to tell you. Well, I'm not sure exactly what I need to do right now, and I don't know all the next 5 steps. You don't need to know that. You really don't. And I'm going to help you get there for the next step. I would say the first order of business, based on what I know has worked without a doubt for my most successful clients and myself, and in me making a lot of mistakes, okay? Like doing things the very hard, painful, long, and expensive way, is making sure you have the guardrail support to go forward, whatever that looks like. Doing this on your own and navigating a timeline jump, an identity shift. You're going into your next level of wealth. To think that you can navigate that on your own and have that go well is a setup. It's a setup for self-sabotage. It's not gonna happen. It's going to be so messy and so painful, and you're going to end up going 5 steps forward, 7 steps back, and playing this insane cha-cha, and then you waste more and more years of time. And I don't want to see you doing that. But I already told you what I did this year, right? I was doing some of that until it got painful enough where I went, oh my God, what am I doing? And I hired additional support so that and I already have support that I pay for regularly to keep the momentum going and to keep things moving and grooving over here. But I knew that I needed a different level, an additional support in order for me to spring ahead. And to think that you don't is crazy. If like those of you who have kids, or if you just think of a kid and they are wanting to play high school football, and that's a dream of theirs, and they already have showed so much interest and so much promise, wouldn't you do things to set them up so that they were going to make the team? Or would you just go, yeah, just like throw the ball by yourself in the backyard and like practice some drills on YouTube and like just go to your regular like league in middle school and you'll be fine? Like, what? And I know I said football. I mean like American football, but we could use football, i.e., soccer as well. Same, any sport. No, you want to set yourself up so the odds are stacked so that your success is inevitable. There's no guarantees in life, but what there is a guarantee is if you don't set yourself up. But your brain during this time is this is the fucked up part. Your ego is going to try to claw you back. And because you're exhausted, you don't have as much bandwidth to fight the ego. You almost don't have that much fight left in you because of how depleted you are. That's when the ego comes in. It's the HALTS acronym: hungry, angry, lonely, tired, stressed. You have any of those, a combination of those going on, that's when the ego will come in and try to claw you back. That's where the enemy will come in and claw you back, the shadow side, because your defenses are down. It's like an injured animal. You are prey for that ego, for the devil to come in and pull you back. And that is the real reason why you cannot do this on your own. Don't think you can outwit the fucking devil. Don't think you can outwit that wild ass mind of yours. And I've convinced myself, because I think I'm very self-aware, which I am. I have a high emotional IQ. I've had a million years of therapy, blah, blah, blah. Nah, no, no, no. I know a lot better now. So what you are being called to look at is that your strategy for how you're wanting to live your life, operate your business, grow your wealth, your lifestyle, it's not going to get you to where you want to go. It may have helped you get to where you are today, and that's beautiful, but it's not going to get you to that next level. And you can't keep carrying that forward and keep having the old way work for the new way. So I'm going to use a tangible example that I think will really land for you guys, because I know a lot of you obviously put out content, you have content that supports your business, or you want to be a content creator, wherever you're at in any of this, or you know your ass needs a content strategy for your business and you've not been doing it or it's not fucking working. Okay. That's leaving millions on the table. And if that number's too wackadoo for you to wrap around your mind, let me ask you this. Would you invest, let's say, $15,000 and let's say 6 months of your time? And I don't mean like 6 months, 12 hours a day, like 6 months of your time. And let's just say I'm going to even like pad it more. I like padding numbers because I'm the opposite of a fantasy marketer. Okay. I kind of want to deter you and then you can give me the answer. Okay, let's just say 3 hours a day for 6 months and $15,000, maybe even more. Let's even go $20,000. Okay. And by the time you're at that 6 month, you are bringing in, without a doubt, ten to $15,000 consistently a month, and it only grows from there. Do you think that's a worthwhile investment of your time, energy, and money? Mm-hmm. It actually would be crazy not to. That's a much bigger return than you get in the stock market. That's a much bigger return than you're getting on a rental property, and so much faster. And that's what's there. But the problem is your ego is wanting that return without you putting anything up front or very much up front. Or it's trying to convince you you've tried all the things. And really, you've done a lot of toe dipping without really a clear, true, proven way and well practiced way going forward. What you want is sitting there for you, whether it's $50,000 months, $100,000 months, $500,000 months. It really is. I started at $17,000 a year. You can go listen to my 4-part documentary style series on starting and growing ProjectME. It is all there for you. It's that you have to set yourself up to get there and get there faster and differently. So where I'm going with this analogy is maybe your content isn't really connecting, isn't really working. Your sales are down, something's not popping, people aren't buying your stuff. They aren't buying how they used to. You're just not getting the engagement. You're not getting the eyes on your stuff. Then your ego comes up with all sorts of stuff. Oh, it's the economy. Oh, it's the algorithm. Oh, it's saturated. Oh, people are sick of you. No, it's that nothing is working because you're being called to do it differently. That's the bottom line. And I was in it this year. And you can go back and listen to these episodes. My fucking content was flat fucking lined to the point where it was in June, where I disappeared to Europe and I went, you know what? Fuck this. And I have to shake it up. I've got to do something very different. And for the first time since starting ProjectME, I didn't post anything. I think it was like 21 days. Now, I still had podcast episodes going out, emails out, like I have a business to run. But I knew that there was a break. Something was broken, and I kept trying to stuff that round peg into a square hole. I wanted what worked in 2022 and 2023 to keep working. Why isn't it working? And then I even tried different things, and I started to convince myself I'm trying everything and nothing's working. And then I would try and try and try, and that's not working. Well, try isn't a fucking plan. Trying is not a profitable plan, nor is figuring it out. That's a scam. Okay, without really actually doing a brand strategic overhaul. And so, what did I do? I gave myself a reset. I brought in new strategic help because I can't see what I can't see, especially in a personal brand. You're standing in the goddamn frame. You can't see the whole picture. Even though I'm a business growth strategist, that I get paid a shit ton of money to help a lot of people and multi-billion-dollar brands, so what? It's just like giving advice to someone. It's easier to give advice to someone and see the holes in someone's stuff, but when you're too close to it, you're too emotionally attached to it, you can't see all the things. And now my accounts are very resurrected. I was being called to let go of old ways of showcasing my offers, old messaging, old content loops, old strategies, old gunky energy. We're not doing business the same way anymore. This is an identity shift that entrepreneurs avoid the most, but it's what you need to do the most. And your ego tries to get you to quit. I even said, fuck this. This isn't worth it. I can make a lot more money just keeping my agency I've had, 18 years in the pharmaceutical medical health supplement space, doing branding and digital marketing and ads and playing the stock market. But I really don't want to quit because I don't want to quit on you guys. This is my baby. I love you guys. And I know where this is meant to go and that it's meant to grow. And if you know what you're meant to do is to help the people you want to help, and it's meant to grow, we've got to get out of our own damn way. We've got to be humble enough to go, you know what? I need help. I need to invest in help in doing this. It might feel like a stretch. It might feel scary. It might be the last thing that I really feel like doing right now because I've already invested so much, or maybe I don't have as much coming in right now. So that doesn't always feel good. Well, that's the time to fucking invest. When you're cashing checks and snapping necks, baby. One of my dear Italian friends loves saying that. You're not going, oh, I need to hire help with this. And you might need to hire help people to facilitate and deliver on stuff, but your stuff is working. It's when the stuff isn't working and you're not getting to where you need to go, that's when you need to call in the reinforcements, and the right reinforcements, not the get rich quick, not the I need to go viral, help me go viral. That is another shim sham of the mind. So the business signs, you're in a timeline jump. Excuse me. Your content feels flat no matter how hard you try. People aren't buying the way they used to. Your engagement's all over your place. Your sales feel slow or random. You're craving clarity on what to do, but you can't access it in your mind. You know something has to change, but you don't know what. You feel pulled to simplify or shift or burn it down. And you can't force yourself to do what worked before. Even you've lost the forcing yourself. You can't even get yourself to do it. It feels too heavy. These aren't failures. You aren't falling backwards. You aren't behind. These are signals. Your business is being rerouted to the next level. Why this season requires new strategy and not more hustle, more push. People try to solve this exhaustion with posting more. I need to lower my prices. I need to make more offers. I need to wait for my energy to magically return. None of that is going to work, I promise you. 2025 buyers are cautious, they're slower, they're more selective. They need to feel deeply safe and connected with you. The old strategies aren't going to work, they're outdated. Things shift, people shift, movements shift. You've shifted. You're not the same person from 2 years ago, especially if you're someone who's always on a quest for growth and you do a lot of personal development and inner work. You're probably not even the same person from last year. All right. This is exactly why you are being called to step forward. So here's how you're going to turn this into a power shift for your business, for your money life. Okay. These are three simple business forward, money forward steps. One identity led action per day. And it doesn't even have to be a big action. I want you to refine one offer, make one invitation, record one video, but out of your new identity. And even if you're like, I'm not sure who that is yet, who do you want it to be? Who do you want the new version of you to be? You can also do, I'm giving for a limited time, my walk into wealth guided manifestation walking series plus wealth journal. And you can access that by swiping up in the show notes. It's at projectmewithtiffany.com/wealthy. This will also greatly help you release the old identity and step into your new identity. But you don't have to have all the answers to know how you want to be operating. How would he or she operate? What would he or she have to say? Remove one outdated business pattern. Doing it all yourself, over editing videos, constantly re-recording to perfection, posting from your ass, selling from fear, sharing your offers, but you really don't know how to sell. You don't have that skill. So you doing stuff without really knowing what the hell you're doing, undercharging because it feels safer. So removing one of these behaviors, and you can do one a week. Pace yourself with it. But you've got to get into action because that action is what's going to activate your timeline jump, or you're going to stay stuck in that messy middle. Let your strategy recalibrate while you lead. You don't need full energy to shift your business. Okay. You need nervous system alignment. You need a plan that works with you, not against you, that turns that exhaustion into direction. Imagine how that's going to feel. Okay, let's say you're working with me in my 2-month private business coaching program, and you now know exactly what you need to focus on and what you can let go of in order for you to move the needle of where you want to go in your business. And it's doable, it's achievable. You are no longer have the question mark in your brain, or you're like frantically going, I need to do this thing. And you're ping ponging over all these things, all this information overload online is telling you to do. You have a very clear path that you step forward and pace yourself one step at a time. There is no way you're not going to be able to get there unless you quit. As long as you are dedicated to continuing building that momentum for yourself and you're committed to following through on the things that you want to do, how would that feel to your nervous system? So much of the energy we waste is by just being frantic, and fast and frantic leads to burnout. You can make some quick cash doing fast and frantic. I've watched a lot of people do it, and then they end up coming to me kind of like a one-hit wonder, right? They put something out there, they've had a big event, it's made all this money, and now there's no actual plan or strategy or sustainability. It's not a sustainable thing. And you might be in that spot. You were able to pull something off for a period of time, and you no longer can pull it off. And that doesn't mean you fucked up. That doesn't mean you're failing. That doesn't mean it's over. That means you are being called to a different level to shift and do things differently. And this is very normal in business. This happens with every business in every industry. And the businesses that fail, whether they're small or they're giant corporations, are the ones who resist the shift because you're burning time, energy, and money when you do that, and all of your resources. Addressing the real resistance for you investing your time, energy, and money into making this shift right now. Are you saying things like, I want help, but I don't want to spend the extra money? What if I do all of this and nothing changes? What if I'm too tired to use the support and follow through? What if this is a bad time? I understand all of these what ifs. You're burning so much energy thinking that, and that's what your ego is doing to protect you. And you can keep down the what if train. But if you do nothing, nothing changes. You remain in this messy middle. And how much longer can you really stay here? And maybe you're like, I can stay here another 6 months. Okay. You're a stubborn ass. All right. You can stay there another 6 months if that's what you feel that you need to do. I personally would rather be making an additional $10,000, $15,000 a month 6 months from now than me spinning in place in 6 months and not wasting my time and energy. But that's up to you. You do not have to do anything at all right now. You have a choice. You can go forward. You can apply momentum and get the help that you need and the support that you need. You can use the exhaustion as an excuse to do nothing. These are all true decisions, but every single choice you make also has an effect, right? It has a consequence, good consequences and negative consequences. And you have to ask yourself, what is going to get me to where I want to go? What is going to set me up to get where I want? Not the insanity of, well, I don't want to do anything, but I want this to happen. But I want to stay spun out in indecision and keep trying this on my own and playing cheap with my dreams. But I also want to be able to be financially free and be able to pay for this and take my family here and have this house and do all of this stuff. It doesn't work like that. It doesn't work like that in any area of your life. It doesn't work like that with your body. It doesn't work like that with relationships. It doesn't work like that even with cleaning your house. We have to get really honest with ourselves of, okay, I'm in so much pain right now. I am being pushed to operate differently. And you wouldn't be pushed to operate differently if the universe, if God, if spirit didn't feel that you were supposed to do that. This is purposeful. The push is on purpose, and the divine is at work here. Otherwise, you wouldn't be pushed. You would be in somewhat, even somewhat uncomfortable, just staying where you're at. But part of the exhaustion, part of the pain of this year, part of the pruning, part of the insanity, the anxiety, all of that, because it puts us in this vice where we're like, I can't fucking do it anymore. All right, fuck it. I'm going to go for it. Fuck it. What's the point? Fuck it. I'm going to just do the damn thing. I'm going to go about it this way. And that you will hear in that two-part series of before and after my biggest quantum leap. That's what started Project Me, is I finally went, you know what? Fuck it. I'm going to go for it. I'm going to invest all the things. I'm going to give it a year. And if it doesn't work, then at least I know that I can look myself in the mirror and I actually went for it. And I need to trust that I am being called forward. I'm being called to do something, or I wouldn't be this uncomfortable. Do you think that your angel spirit, do you think that it's calling you to stay where you're at? It's calling you to feel this way. It's calling you to feel depleted and in scarcity and all of that. No, you're being called to your manifestations, the stuff that you're saying you want, the abundance you've put out there, the visions you've had for your life. You're being called forward to it. But the fucked up thing is it's not going to be comfortable to be called forward. It's incredibly discomfortable. Discomfortable? Dysregulating and uncomfortable when you're called forward. And that's on purpose, because that's when we make change and that's when we get into movement. And I promise you, what is on the other side waiting for you is absolutely remarkable. And I want to read this to you so you don't just hear evidence from me, okay? Tiffany, I had to email you because something happened today that honestly doesn't even feel real. I'm still in shock, so it's easier for me to write it out than to tell you. I just made more money in the last 10 days than I did in the previous 8 months combined. What's wild is it didn't come from pushing harder. It came from the shifts you walked me through, the messaging tweaks, the rebranded offers, which made me show up and be fully seen. I didn't realize how much I'd been hiding until you reflected it back to me. But the money isn't the whole story. The real change is that I finally feel like I'm leading my business, not chasing it. I feel capable again, clear, grounded, and honestly, loving my business again for the first time in a long time. Choosing to work with you has already changed my life in so many ways, and we're just getting started. So beyond grateful for you. Rachel B. I received that the other day at 3:33 p.m., which wasn't lost on me. And I wasn't asking for a testimonial. It came out of the blue. And that is what happened when you do the uncomfortable thing and you choose yourself and you choose the path forward and you set yourself up to have the support you need to go through this wildness. And you're being called, and being called is a gift. It is a blessing. It is a curse. It is heavy, and not everyone is called. And that instinct that you have inside you that you know you're being called forward, that doesn't mean you're a narcissist. Who do I think I am? Egotistical. Maybe I'm crazy for thinking this. Trust that. If you lined up 1,000 people, I guarantee you, very few of them have that inner calling, that inner knowing. It's there for a reason, but you've got to take the step. You've got to make the moves. You've got to do your part and then allow the universe to do the rest, right? This is a collaborative process. Wishing you great health, wealth, and worth as always. Love you so much. You can swipe up to apply for my exclusive 2-month private business coaching program, the highest level way to work with me. This is the last time the applications are going to be open. It's the only way for you to be able to access them. And this is for people who are basically you're done fucking around and you want to get to where you want to go in the fastest, most efficient way where everything is customized for you. Also, what is inside of the show notes when you swipe up or in the description here on Project Me TV on YouTube is my special gift to you, my Walk into Wealth manifestation guided walking series plus wealth journal. And this is going to help you release your old identity and have a very healthy breakup with it and step into your new one in 7 days or less. It's such a beautiful process. Hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people, in fact, probably even thousands at this point, have done it. I call you guys my wealth walkers. Plus, you get movement in while doing it. You don't have to walk while doing it, but I would ideally like you to be in some form of movement while doing it. You can swipe up and access that or go to projectmewithtiffany.com/wealthy.